Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about why everyone says the first 100,000 is the hardest and why most people will never achieve it. And at the end, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can achieve 100,000 and beyond. So, all across America, the median bank account balance is only $5,300. The average bank account balance is $41,700. It doesn't even matter what age group you're in. The highest median bank account balance is $9,300, and that's for 75 and older. And the highest average bank account is $60,400 for 65 to 74-year-olds. Surprisingly, even income doesn't make much of a difference. The highest median bank account balance is $69,000, and that's for the top 10% of all income earners. The highest average is $229,400, and again, that's for the top 10% of all income earners. So even in the top 10%, the median bank account balance is not $100,000. And I think median is a lot more accurate than average because average includes the outliers that have several million or more in their bank account. And whereas median, 50% of the people and lower have $69,000 in their bank account or less. And that's for the top 10% of income earners. If you look at people even in the top 20% of income earners, they only have $20,000 in their bank account. Just to kind of put the last slide in perspective, the top 20% of income earners nationwide is $131,350. So if you make $131,350 a year, you're in the top 20% of income earners nationwide, and the median bank account balance for the top 20% was $20,000. The median bank account for the top 10%, which would be way higher than 131, is $69,000. Now you might be thinking, of course they don't have $100,000 sitting in their bank account because they have all their money in retirement savings, which I would agree with, and that's what my assumption was as well. But as you can see here, a quarter of all Americans have no retirement savings at all, and 42% of 18 to 29-year-olds have no retirement savings. But overall, across America, 1/4 of all Americans don't have anything saved for retirement. That includes all age groups. In a 2019 Fidelity report, 65% of U.S. employees consider themselves savers and not investors. So 25% have no retirement savings at all, and 65% are putting the rest of their money in savings accounts. So what I'm assuming is happening is people are making their employer match of 3% or 6% or whatever you have with your employer, and then they're putting the rest of their money in their savings account. And if you recall, the median savings account balance was $5,300 across the country. So they're not doing a good job saving either. There are 4 reasons that I can think of why people are not able to reach $100,000 in their retirement and savings accounts. Because if you recall, it doesn't matter the income or the age. For the most part, most Americans do not have $100,000 in their retirement accounts or their savings accounts combined. And so the 4 things that I can think of, because I've been guilty of them myself, is analysis paralysis, overanalyzing the market, trying to get the absolute best return possible, and therefore you don't get in at all. I remember thinking, why on earth would I invest my money in the stock market to get 6 to 12% return a year? It's going to take forever to double my money. I thought there has to be a better way. So what did I do? I put my money in my bank account making 0.01% until I can find a better way to double my money or beyond. I think a lot of people, such as myself, who love numbers fall into the analysis paralysis where we overanalyze stuff and never get started because we're always looking for the absolute best possible deal. Another reason is fear of investing. I know a lot of people are afraid to invest. Investing's not guaranteed. There's something about putting your money in a bank or a CD that makes you feel safe and secure, even though it's really technically not growing. It's not even keeping up with inflation for the most part. I know for me, my dad, he lost a lot of money in the stock market. So growing up, the stock market wasn't really highly regarded in my household. So I've had quite a bit of fear to overcome to actually start investing in the stock market. And for some people that don't have analysis paralysis or fear of investing, they might fall prey to wanting their money now. So it might even be for good intentions, like to pay off their student loans or their credit cards or whatever debt they have. They might be cashing out their retirement account or their investment accounts so that they can pay off their debts. I know some people, use it to buy a boat or a car or whatnot. And the last reason I can think of is cost of living is just so expensive that you can't afford to invest anything at all. All your money goes towards literally just surviving. I know even when I first got married, my wife and I were eating grilled cheese and soup every single day for dinner, and the thought of even eating Wendy's fast food was too expensive. So the thought of investing was way, way far away from our minds. My wife and I both worked really hard to increase our income and decrease our expenses to finally get out of the just surviving zone and to finally be able to breathe. And after about a couple years, we finally decided to start investing very slowly. And that's how I think most people can overcome it, is by implementing the 1% rule. The 1% rule is where you invest just 1% of your gross income each month. And the idea is that you eventually grow it from 1% to 2%, 3%, even if you do it once a year. So the first year you do 1% of your gross income, the second year you do 2% of your gross income, and so on until you eventually slowly grow the amount you're putting into investments. Now, I know this, for analysis paralysis, just putting in 1% would be to get your foot in the game so you can actually see live data and actually see the numbers at work versus what you've been doing in the past. For me, my money was sitting in a bank account. Once I finally started investing and was getting my employer match, plus the returns of the stock market going up and dividends, I was able to see that, hey, this is a way better deal than leaving my money in the bank or in a CD. Fear of investing, once you're only risking $12 a month in the lowest income bracket, federal minimum wage. Even if you're in the top 10% of West Virginia, that's $136 a month. If you're making that much money, $136 a month, relatively speaking, probably isn't as much because the cost of living is also not as much. I would look at this almost like a tax, like you have to pay it no matter what. I remember when I was making, I think, $12 an hour, they came out with an increase in Social Security tax, and it didn't matter how my situation was, I had to pay it. I consider myself an amateur investor, just above beginner when it comes to stocks. Real estate, I consider myself an expert, but when it comes to stocks, I have just above beginner experience. I'm not going to be breaking any records when it comes to stock investing or mutual funds or ETFs or whatnot. So in May 2017 is when I first started with $0. And today, my Roth IRA, 403b, and 401k combined is just under $100,000. I have a lot more in real estate, but as far as stock investing goes, you could see how quickly it grows. I mean, I did get very lucky in the stock market with, annual returns of 30, 40, 50%, so plus employer matches. But the point is that I eventually got started. I overcame all the fears and objections that I had to getting into the stock market and eventually started putting money towards it. And if I never got started, I'm assuming my bank account would probably be around $15,000 to $20,000 max, or I might have squandered it because I thought, what's the point? You only live once. So let me know down in the comments below where you are on your journey, and if you think this is helpful. Thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you found it informative, and if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, and subscribing if you want more videos like this.